So as you probably noticed as we look around in our files, we've got all kinds of different files with all kinds of different file names. Well, Bridge makes it very easy for us to be able to select and rename or batch rename our files. So let's do that. Maybe we should work with the dogs first. If you need to select an entire group of dogs and these images are next to each other, simply hold down your Shift key and select the first and last image, and every image in between, which means the contiguous images, will also be selected. If we need to add images to the group that are not next to one another, hold down your Command key if you're on a Mac, Control on a PC, and simply click anywhere that you see a dog. Okay, so we're just going to go through and select our dogs. We may need to scroll down, and let's see, here's some dogs as well. Right here and here. So here's a whole row of dogs, so maybe we can add our Shift key and get all of those together. And it looks like I might have missed a few here. And our goal is to actually go through the content window, and if there's a picture of a dog anywhere in any photograph, let's be sure to select it. And that might look like a dog, but I believe that's a goat. So let's continue to scroll down until we find our dogs. Let's see, here's some dogs here and here. And now if you accidentally happen to get an image that isn't a dog, that's okay. I will purposely omit our Photoshop files and also our Illustrator files from our file naming batch rename that we're about to do. So we'll scroll through here and select any image that has a dog. And I think I might have them all. Let's see, let me scroll back up and just take a quick peek. There's one that I forgot right there. Just continue to scroll up, and your goal is to get your images with the dogs selected. So I'm just going to scroll back up, and again, it's absolutely fine if you don't get each and every one for this lesson, but we'll do our best for sure. Okay. All right. So we have a wide variety of images selected. Each of these images have a dog. Let's go to the Tools menu here, and the very first option is to batch rename. When our Batch Rename dialog box opens, this is where we make all of the modifications to the selected files. We are going to actually leave these in the same folder and just rename them here, but if we wanted to move them or copy them, we could. Right here under New File Names, this is where you build the file name. We've selected pictures with dogs, so it might make sense if our file name begins with dogs, and maybe we'll just do an underscore. Look right here under Preview, and you can see the file extension that's being built. Great. Well, let's add on to the file name. Let's click the plus sign here, and we have a lot of things that we could choose from to add to our file name, including the date and the time or sequence letters. I think for our situation, we might go with sequence numbers, and we can choose up to 6 digits. We don't have but about 59 files selected, so maybe let's just go with 2 digits for this example. And the very first one is going to be dogs_01, and that matches exactly the file name that we have here. Very nice. When we're ready to go, you simply click Rename, and all of the selected files now have a new file name starting with dogs. 01, 02, 03, all the way through the very end. Very nice. Let's also maybe do this with our cats. I'm going to go down to the very bottom and squeeze over to the left a little bit and see if I can't get smaller thumbnails. That might allow me to select the images just a little bit faster if I don't have to scroll around. So our goal now is, if you see a picture of a cat, scroll out just a little bit maybe, a picture of a cat, looks like we have some duplicates here as well. I'm going to hold down my Command key, and if there's duplicates, that's okay. We are just going to select any pictures that you see with the cat, and we will batch rename those as well. Now this looks like it could be a tedious process to go through and try to find the cats, right, and try to find everything. but it is definitely a lot easier than using Finder or Windows Explorer because that would take a whole lot longer. So it looks like, again, if we don't get every single one the first time, that's perfectly okay. But just looking around real quick, here's a cat here. Let's see. And that looks, here's one. Okay, that looks pretty good for now. Again, to batch rename, you simply go to the Tools menu, go down to batch rename, and this time instead of dogs, we are going to type in cats, and we'll be sure to start this over with 1, and when you are ready, you click rename, and all of your files that were selected should be renamed. It might help if we get out of thumbnail view to see that. Let's go to the view menu and maybe go to details and check out our file names that are being created. Let me just make this view a little smaller so we can actually see more at one time. And indeed, our file names are coming along quite nicely. So as we scroll down, matter of fact, let's do this. Let's go to view and list and resort by name, and now we can see all of our cats together. Very nice. Looks like we have some bunnies and some flowers. Let's experiment with the flowers now. Let's see if we can't batch rename some of these guys. Here's a few flowers, and notice that we are not in thumbnails view. It doesn't matter. In this case, it might even make it easier if we aren't. Same situation, tools, and we'll go here to batch rename, and we will eliminate the word cats and type flowers and underscore. Our flowers will start with the number 1. Notice the file name here. Very good. Rename. All right. Looks like we have a couple cats and a couple of goats and a couple of other random images that maybe still need to be renamed. But I think you probably get the big picture of how easy it is to rename lots of images at once. In our next lesson, we'll take this a little bit further. We did give most of these guys a new file name. However, it might also be helpful instead of just a file name, which is super great, if we assign keywords to them. What happens if you can imagine if you have thousands of images and maybe you just need the flowers, or maybe you just need small dogs, or maybe you just need lizards. Well, instead of going through multiple pictures and looking, if you take the time to go in and set up keywords, you can use the filter panel right here to quickly gather up any information and any images that you need very quickly by searching by keyword. And that's what we'll do in our very next lesson. For now, let's go back to thumbnail view. And in our next lesson, we'll learn to apply and add keywords and sort and filter by keywords as well.